That church in our town, those Willie Browns, so small, so certain, and they caused mass grave tragedy. They were bandits. They crept in, tiptoed around in the dark. We couldn't see what they were doing at the time, but we felt it. We felt it. Oh, those Willie Browns. They robbed us blind. They stole our souls. They hung out their shingles as soul savers, even as they were destroying them. They replaced our love, our joy, our emotions, our tragedy, rage, sorrow, violence, lust, desire. Sorry, I'm embarrassing you. Love, they burnt it down. But listen, our love, our resilience, our madness, we go crazy. Of course, we are humans. They took all those things. They replaced them with evil and with guilt. Oh my God, guilt. Cheapest creeper. But we slay their hypocrisy with their jokes. High five. They took all those things we need to navigate the world. They took the beautiful things right under our noses. Crept in like thieves. Replaced our tolerance with condemnation, our desire with shame, our feeling with sin, our wild joy with discipline, our agency with obedience, our imagination with rules, every act of joyous rebellion with crushing hatred, our impulses with self-loathing, our empathy with sanctimoniousness, threat, cruelty, our curiosity with isolation, willful ignorance, and fatalism. Punishment, our fires with ashes, our love with fear and trembling, our they took our life fire, and so we fight to reclaim it. We fight and we fight and we fight. We fight to love. We fight to love ourselves. We fight for access to our feelings, for access to our fires. We fight for access to God. They stole our God from us. We fight for our lives. Some of us lose the fight. Oh, it can bring a person to his knees. It can. There are few losses in life that can bring a person to his knees. Oh, I'm sorry. A person gets angry. My tongue will tell the anger of my heart, or else my heart concealing it will break. The timing of the show. Swift, are you awake? Are you awake? You got me there. I thought you have really fallen asleep. I thought I would really have to say all these things over again. You, Dr. Damages, I hereby sentence you to 12 months in prison with hard labor. All right. Welcome to the show. This is an amazing day. I don't know what I signed up for, but we are going live. If you want to join us, please come on. We are asking today a fundamental question. What's the purpose of life? Amazing. I have interesting characters. These are not human beings. I have interesting characters who joined and they told me to just keep quiet and let them talk. And they will challenge you, your understanding of who you are, where you are, how you got here, and where you are going after here. So let me introduce my good friend, Dr. Perry Bremer. Dr. Bremer, welcome to the show. We can hear you. Say hello.
Yeah. Thank you, my colleague, Dr. Damages.
Yes.
My
nice
esteemed colleague.
You. It's nice.
It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah, I should have brought your book, and show the people. I hope you have the book. You can show it to the people. And yeah, yes. If you open the book, you'll be amazed. And then, of course, I have all the way from Boston is Raman Oladibolo. Raman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now,
it's a pleasure to be here.
Raman is a movie maker, and he's also an author of what's the name of that your book? Remind us.
Unholy pilgrimage.
Exactly. These people are not playing.
We are not playing.
They are not playing. And then BU, I don't know if you want to join or you want to listen in, but If you want to join, you can show your face, or otherwise I'll take you out from the. You can still stay in the studio. All right. So the first question is to you, Rahman. Who are you? If you're how old is your son? 4? Is it 4?
He's going on 5 now.
5. Okay. All right. So if your son comes to you and say, "Daddy, who am I? Where did I come from?" What are you going to tell him?
That's not a straightforward answer. For him, what I will tell him, which is really what I will tell him, is that I don't know. I can't tell you, but I will be happy if you can try to find out. Once you've found out, you can let me know. And any guidance you want me to give you at one point or another, ask and I'll be there. But you have to find out, and that's the way I think it is for everyone. Everyone has to really find out all these questions for themselves. It's
So you don't know.
other than the fact that you know his mother and I got married, and then we have him. That's the only thing I know.
All right.
Because these are the only things apparent to me. When it comes to where he's really from, and things like that, I don't know.
You have no idea. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back to you, Dr. Bremer. The same question to you. Where did you come from?
Of course, I am a creationist, so I believe I was created, and I believe I have a unique designated purpose, and I believe we all do. And I see that as the only answer to give on instance, and with confidence.
Who created you? How did that happen? When did that happen?
I believe in two levels of my creation. So I
Okay.
believe in my birth and I believe in my creation. So in terms, I will say I am an equivalent of Adam. So the creation of Adam represents my creation. And so, anything that you think about, the first man and the laws that guide him are also what I represent. So I represent the first man. So if you're asking when was I created, I can say, when the first man was created, that represents the creation of all of us. So he represents us.
Okay. All right. We will get to everything, and I want our audience to know that they can join us. We will open the studio up for people to join if you want to join the conversation. I don't know the answers. I'm here to question anybody that comes here to tell us what they know. Raman, so you don't know where you came from, but what's the purpose of life then? If you don't know where you came from, why are you here? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's part of the whole mystery. There's something about a life. I think that uh, which I think we as human beings will have to really acknowledge, you know, understand and acknowledge is the mystery behind life in general. We have different religions in the ways they talk about the meaning of life, the origin of life, and things like that. There's a sense of this idea that human beings don't know. And some people take it upon themselves to create metaphorical narratives in order to give you a hint, how things are, but not really a quite clear picture of exactly where you're from and where you're going when after life. So, an example is Dr. Perry's mentioning of Adam and Eve. With a lot of information that we have in the world today, we know definitely that Adam and Eve weren't really the first man and woman. There have been creatures before then and evolution and things like that. Because even when you look at the story of Adam and Eve, it goes back to just a few thousand years, which not under 10,000 is when you look at the whole story. Either 5 or 7 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it's under 10,000 years. But we know now that human beings have been in existence here far more than that. So how do we connect this story? And I think the question about the meaning of life is a very important one in the sense that uh, people want to know exactly uh, what is the purpose of it, and if there's a purpose, how do we do it, and if the purpose is coming from somewhere or anything. People want to know, and that's one of the things that led us to the whole religious venture that humans have started long, long ago. And some of the people who have, I believe, who have been able to reach a stage, understanding a level of understanding of this, were the people who created all the religions that we have. Because understanding that there are some things that, like sometime in the past, there is this idea of esotericism that is that surrounds the whole idea of religion. You have a class of priests that are believed to know exactly what life and everything is all about, and it's not available to the masses. So these are the people that tell the masses what's the meaning of life, where you're from, and given the challenges that it is from reading all these different texts from all these different religions, you get a sense that, yeah, so these people created metaphors to be able to talk to their people, let them have that kind of experience of the mystery of understanding. But of course, we tend to take things literally, and that's what has got us to where we are. So when it comes to what's the meaning of life, uh, you know, life in terms of meaning is a little bit of a problem. When you ask for meaning, there was this quote from Kafka that says meaning has no meaning. That when you say meaning itself has no meaning. And you have some people like the existentialists who tell you that you make your own meaning. Human beings make their own meaning, and they live by it. And when you look at uh, history of religion and of everything that we have, we ourselves are the ones that have been making up the meanings of our lives, and that's how we've been living it. Even when you subscribe to a particular religion, it's a meaning that some people have formed together and that you're now subscribing to and holding because you believe it. You make it a meaning and you pursue it. So
All
that's
right.
how I see it. Yeah.
Rahman, you should be a guru on this. So what I mean by that is that we are about to let more people in. So you make your answers brief. I know this is a long theoretical
Yeah.
questions that we are
Hmm.
answering here, but you make it brief so that we let many people join the conversation. People are
Okay. Good.
itching to join us. Dr. Perry, what's the purpose of
Yes.
life? You know where you came from. You are sure. What is the purpose?
I will, if you forgive me, I will answer my questions sort of in a little bit of a debate fashion with Rahman,
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
if you
can
don't
debate him.
mind.
Yeah,
So
of course. Of course.
I'll just challenge two of his most prominent points, and I'll start with the last one, the purpose. And I'll leave a question for him and other people that might come.
Okay.
And that question would be that if there is no meaning or no designated meaning or purpose, can I choose my purpose to be that of utter destruction? What I mean is there anything that makes it immoral for me to say that I want to warm up the globe, burn it up? I want to drop nukes. I want to kill and destroy. Can that be a beautiful purpose? Is there any reason why that is objectively wrong? And can I be praised if I decide that that is my purpose to be a Hitler or something like that? Can that be
Mhm.
said to be categorically wrong? And then to
Mhm.
another point that I want to make a comment on, it's the timeline. Raman specified a timeline in one religious scripture, the Bible, and that timeline has been faulted by a lot of people that timeline is not the timeline of Adam and Eve. So there were no people, human beings like us before Adam and Eve. And science has actually found mitochondrial Eve. It's called MT Eve, and also mitochondrial Adam. And that helped to rule out this multi-origin hypothesis, which was the racist theory at the time of Darwin that said blacks originated from some mountains in Africa and whites originated separately from Eurasia from these Russian mountains and stuff. That was this multi-origin hypothesis when we thought we originated separately from some apes before us. But now the world has moved towards the RSOH, which is called the recent single origin hypothesis. And the recents, showing that it's recently that we are coming to these terms, have found mitochondrial Eve originating out of Africa. So the other name for the RSOH, or recent single origin hypothesis. Bye bye. Bye bye. The other name for the recent single origin hypothesis is out of Africa, because we found mitochondrial Eve in the Horn of Africa, that's the Ethiopia region. And that region also corresponds to the religious story of Adam and Eve being dropped in that same area. Because if you look at the Horn of Africa, if you look at the Pangea is how the world used to be before the tectonic plates separated us. We were all together. It was all one mass. And if you look at that mass, when you look at that Horn of Africa where mitochondrial Eve was found, that links to the Middle East, to Israel, Palestine, where the religious story said the first man came out. So the religious story, the scientific story, has moved from multi-origin to single, to the first female and mitochondrial and Y chromosomal male, the first male, they found those. And it's also the same area that the religion has always said, which is you can literally walk from Israel, Palestine to Ethiopia. So that time frame is wrong in the Bible. It's not 10 years. And other religious scriptures, which are all from the same origin, have these longer time frames. So that's just what I want to say at this point.
All right. So I like this movement, Dr. Perry, moving the timeline, and how does that fit into the idea that there some millions of years there were the dinosaurs here? Did where were they? Were they in the continent before the split, or did they happen after the split? What is
Yeah, dinosaurs were all before the split. So
okay?
the split happened after the dinosaurs were, like, the first, because the Earth, from what we know, is about 4 billion years old. So you had the dinosaur era, and then the tectonic plate splits maybe a billion years ago. I can't remember exactly when, but they were able to cross from continent to continent. All these things were crossing from continent to continent. It's more recently that you had that split.
Hmm. All right. So I'm expecting I have a pastor that I'm trying to bring in, and because we want to hear from everybody. I don't have any answers to these questions. I'm just
You
assuming.
do. You're just trying to be an
I,
impartial moderator, but
I
I know
have
you
no
do.
I have no
Feel free.
answers. so
All
so
right. So
If I can, if I can, if I can respond to those,
the
yeah,
Pangea
go ahead.
breakup was 250 million years ago, so it's really recent.
Okay, Raman,
That's
go ahead.
around the time
Raman, go ahead.
yeah,
my.
if I can respond to that, I think you see, in terms of the exact place where the story of Adam and Eve in Eden is, I would, before I heard what you were saying, I will say no. It was actually traced to an ancient area where we call Iraq today. But that's where it has been traced to. Where the story of Adam and Eve. But with your point and some other contentions regarding this, it's still something that is not really anyone really knows exactly where it was and who were the real Adam and Eve or something like that, you know. But the Eve mitochondria that you're referring to, this was something that scientists who discovered this, they gave it the name Eve because it's a metaphorical naming, knowing that the genes that they discovered was the earliest that they traced all human beings to. That was the reason they called it Eve, because that's what's been
But there's
culturally
something.
inbred in all of us.
But there's
So it
something
wasn't,
bigger to
if
that.
you look at it very well, it wasn't that they discovered Eve. Because who knows Eve's mitochondrial or anything? Who knows that? Nobody knows what it was. So we found something, and it was the oldest that we found so far. So the name is Eve mitochondria. That was just it. Not that it was Eve in herself. So yeah, that's to say that. And then the second one, which was the first question you asked about any objective validation to for someone to decide to be like
Objective
Hitler.
morality.
Yes, uh, there is a problem that people often fall into when it comes to morality issue. That you have some people who claim that morality is absolute from God. It says this and that we have to follow, and others will tell you that no, morality is not from God. It's something that we create ourselves. And it's within that that your question came from, which is that okay, if we create our own meanings, then someone like Hitler or anyone who wants to be like Hitler, if you can decide to do it, whether it's valid or not. I say no, because uh, yes, we don't have any concrete things that you say you have a message from God directly. All these scriptural narrations that we have, they were all written by men. And when they talk about writing it out of inspirations, it's human inspiration, understanding what's going deeper into the nature of life, into the nature of human beings, how and things like that. That's how they come up with these kinds of stories. It's people who you can say, yeah, they've reached a level of understanding, but they know that they're fellow human beings. A large
They
percentage of their fellow human beings don't have that idea what they know, so they try to write it down for them metaphorically. So the way it is that among us, if it was just me alone in the world, I could be doing whatever I like, okay? But if you are now there and it's you and I, then there is a responsibility. Things changed. I'm not going to just be doing what I want unless you're on one side of the world and I'm on the other side. If our territory is kind of like converge, then it means that in order to do whatever I want, we have to first decide what we are looking for, how we want to live, and all of that. We have to have a set of understanding. And within that understanding is what I will decide to do what I want to do. And when you look at having people all over the world, having different nations and others like that, for someone to come like Hitler, wanting to change the destiny of the other human beings in there, that has violated the natural laws that we can derive by ourselves. That
natural.
okay, you are human beings, they are human beings, everybody is human beings. We all have to be respected as human beings. So I cannot stand up and say, no, you see, those people are they don't have the right genes. They are this and that, and I have to wipe them out. No, I don't have that right anymore. And I mean, when I mean natural, I'm not really saying going back to God. God can be part of it in any sense, but I think the whole idea of saying God is also a metaphorical designation. So when you have in these kind of situations, we all have to agree on the value of every one of us because we're here. And interestingly, that's what the United Nations have been trying to do. Only that the rest of the world have not really been following all these laws that we have within the United Nations Charter. Even the big guys who are there, the United States, China, and all this Russia, no one has really been respecting the human rights of everyone. People are only either big, like the war in Ukraine now. It's being produced through egotistic propulsion. So when you say, is it really natural? It's not, because you have every one of us, Putin and the Ukrainian president, in this great scheme of things, they are both equal as leaders of nations. And the people of Russia, the people of Ukraine, and all of it, everyone should be equal. That is how we see the world now. That I am not the only one living in the world. We have about 8 billion people living in the world. So before I decide to make a meaning for myself, I have to make sure that it's within the limits, that it doesn't overstep onto
Everything you have
someone
said.
else's meaning
If I
or
may
someone
object,
else's
Okay, okay,
opportunity to make
okay,
their own
okay,
meaning. You get my
okay,
point?
Rahman.
So
Rahman,
yeah.
hold on. Perry, come in. And let me also just to announce that we need to also get this to what real people, you guys are not real people, what real people are interested in, which is where did God come into this equation,
okay,
and
we'll get to it.
what is happiness? Are we all coming from Adam and Eve? and where did Adam come from? We want to break it down to what regular people
Okay.
like us are interested in. You guys taking it too far, but
The things
Dr.
we are
Perry,
saying are very significant. So let me.
yeah, Dr. Perry, get
But-
get
so,
get on it.
firstly,
Mm,
I want to state categorically that for you to say that it would not be right to do something is based on, as you said, certain people had an inspiration to write down moral laws, which they attributed to God. Now, you are saying they didn't get it from there. If we exclude those people who wrote down these laws, we have nothing else. Now, you've disconnected them from who they said gave them those laws. And those are the laws that we still follow today from the commandments. Those are the laws enshrined in all constitutions, and they attributed it to God. The point I'm trying to make is, and you cannot just disconnect them from who they said their source was. The point I'm trying to state is there is no objective morality. There is only
Mm.
subjective morality. And
Yeah.
we can test this.
No, it's
Right
true. I
now, there's
agree.
a big debate on, let's say, things like um, transgender rights or
Hmm.
transgenders in sports, or there's a big debate that just cannot end. People go and vote in one direction, and then others go and vote in another direction. According to the laws of evolution, which is what you, I believe, attribute to the way things come about, there's a contest. The stronger person makes the law. And that's the way it is. These subjective laws that we believe came from God are the ones where we say, do not kill the next person. But if we are not restricted by the laws that we say came from religion, if I'm stronger, I will kill you, like it was in America in the Wild Wild West. And there's nothing wrong with that. And nobody looks at that as inherently wrong. The stronger animal kills the weaker animal. The only reason why we say respect life is not because it's two people on earth together, it's because we had a law that came down that said respect life. Otherwise, if Russia is stronger, they kill Ukraine, and everybody says they are the cooler guys, they are the stronger ones. That's evolution. The strong survive, the weak go away. The only morality we have is subjective. There's no objective morality, there's no inherent morality. I can't just figure out that, oh, it's not good to cheat on my wife. It's not good to kill a person. Why not? The animals do it. Everybody does it. The stronger person does it, and the stronger person is respected, and the weaker person is looked down on. So I disagree with you for saying that people can, or United Nations, the foundation of America, the laws that America wrote into its constitution were taken from the Quran, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita. And this is proudly stated. That's the foundation of the constitution and laws that we have in the world today. And I challenge anybody to bring up another set of laws from human instinct. That said, I've forgotten there was another point that you made, but maybe I'll leave that. So Dr. Damage is asked about happiness and what's the second question? Happiness?
The question about what is happiness? How do we uh, are we here? Why are we here for? Why are we here
Why are we
for?
here?
Are we here?
All
Are
right.
we here to make heaven? Are we here to achieve? What is
So those are
destiny? Are we
important
destined to
questions.
be
They are
here?
both linked together.
But
As we
Dr. Prima, okay, 1 minute so that I will
okay,
get the voice of new people joining us.
okay,
To
okay.
yeah, go ahead. Just answer them in general. We can go in depth later, but I want to make sure that people joining us will join the conversation.
Myself?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
all right. So really quickly. So, happiness has been changing over time. People are getting less happy with more capitalism and more goods. I believe true happiness is in a peace, and that peace is found by unity with our source, our creator. That's the only way to get true happiness. That's my belief of happiness is unity with the one. We're all part of that one. And that is also the purpose of existence, is to get connected back with our source.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Sahid, welcome to the show. Tell us where you're joining us from, and what's your take on what we're discussing.
Oh, hello. My name is Sahid. I think the mic is a little bit I'm sorry, I have a child was
No, it's
distracting me
okay.
right here.
We want to indoctrinate her
Sorry.
from this point.
Yeah, I'm actually joining from Quincy, Massachusetts, from the United States.
Okay.
So I had the baby naming today, and my brother Rahman invited me today.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Uh,
Very good. So, do you have any opinion on what we're discussing, or you want to keep listening to what we're saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. She's
Okay.
a distraction right now. That's why I do apologize for that.
Okay. No problem.
All right.
All right. We had Gus in America. Um, Godson.
Good
All right.
evening.
Good. Yeah. How are you?
Is that Mr. Odoka?
How are you doing?
Man, I'm fine.
You are relaxed as if you are sure of where you are on this earth and why you are here and where you are going after. Tell us, what is your picture of life? Why are you here? What are you doing here? Where did you come
Yes,
from?
yes, yeah, I'm from Morocco anyway. So
Wait. You came from Morocco or you're from Morocco?
yes,
or
yes, sir,
you
because we are all denying Nigeria these days because of what is going on over there.
You are from
okay.
wherever you choose to be from.
You're
Yes.
from Morocco. Okay. And where are you going? Where are you going to from Morocco? You're going to where?
No, I reside over here.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I work over here.
Okay. Good. Good. And why do you work? Why are you doing all the things you're doing in this on this earth?
Because I overheard you about why do we come to this life, as in really,
Mm-hmm.
according to some scientific view,
Mm-hmm.
and like all those are philosophers, them are Aristotle, Plato, and Socrates,
Mm,
as in they were all Greek philosophers,
mm,
and the word life in a Greek word, it means zoe or bio, but why in Hebrew it means heba. So that life, according to history, because anything life, it should come from the biblical way.
mm.
So that life, I think from Adam and Eve, according to history. So it was created just to serve God and to take care of those other things in the garden. Let me say all those animals and handle. So I overheard someone talking about maybe God created all those dinosaurs, all those things. But like all those things, I think there's no strong view or maybe proof, because before God created man, he separated land from water. After saying let there be light, he now separated land from water. So then I don't think all those animals they were made then, because I wish they were made. They would have been, I think they all those the land that God separated. So I think those animals, those dinosaurs and those other creatures, I think they've not been existing then before God separated land. So after God separated land from the water, that's when he created Adam. So like all those creating dinosaurs, all those things, I don't think there's a review. So let me go back to our topic. Like this life, we were really created just to serve God and to become what we want to be. As in, to become, it's just like a mission, like just like Moses now. God sent him to be a deliverer to the Israelites. You understand?
Mm,
Just like Joseph, he was a
mm.
dreamer, just to also fulfill the prime minister that God prophesied that he should become. So I believe life, the main definition of what we come to do in this life is just to serve God and to become what God wants us to be.
And
That's what I really think about life.
do you know what he wants you to be?
Yes, yes. Even Joseph knew what he's supposed to be when he was young. He was saying that he's going to be
No, I
a,
mean
a,
you.
a
No,
ahead of.
forget about Joseph. I mean you.
Yes, yes.
What does he want you to be?
That one is eating between me.
And tell
Mr.
me
Doka,
when you are
you have
done
to expose me.
when you are done accomplishing that, where do you go to?
I'll go back to my father. I'll
Where
go
is your
back to
father?
God.
Where is he?
Am I? My father is the creator of heaven and earth.
Where is he?
Mr.
All right, all right.
Odoka is like you want to bomb
Stand
me.
by. Stand by. Okay, okay. Roman, let me come back to you. You guys have been mentioning stories and theories. Most of them are foreign. Where does Africa fit into all this? I mean, are we observers of all these things, or we don't have any role to play in terms of the ideas of life and where we are and where we are going? Where does that fit in? I keep hearing things foreign, things that are not. We are all Africans here, as far as I know, apart from the guy from Morocco. Are you from Africa? Anyway, but we are all Africans. And the question is, where do we fit into all these ideas, Roman?
We are part of all these ideas, but yes, unfortunately, because of incursions of the Europeans and the Arabs in Africa, we are now all either Muslims, Christians, and these stories that they tell us are what we take as the definitive stories. But all these stories uh, the story that we have in the Bible goes through, even in the Quran. It started from the Hebrew. It's a formation from among the Hebrews. So it's their version of the origin of the world in trying to enlighten their people. But you have the same kind of story from other parts of the world. So the ones that we have, each one of us, as you see, different tribes in Africa, they have their own origin
What
story.
happened to our stories? Why is it our own is not paid attention to? We are all spewing the stories from other people.
Yes, because through the colonization and through the mixing of the Islam and the Christianity with our culture, given the way these different people, two people came to Africa, it has been ingrained in too many people that's what we have Muslims and Christians across Africa right now, largely. The traditional believers, the religions that are indigenous to our own land have now been pushed to the background. So that's the reason why we are talking and we are referencing Adam and Eve and all that. Whereas we have our own origin stories. It's
All right.
So according to the history of evolution that Dr. Perry was just talking about, you can in some way say because of the power of the colonizations and stuff, that's what puts the Adam and Eve story, because this was a place where they tried to reach all over the world, building their own empire, the Islamic civilization building their own empire, spreading around the world, and then the European empire, the British empire especially, and all of this, that they were using Christianity to further their own goals of trying to conquer the world. So this has made Christianity and Islam to take a forefront position in talking about the origin of the world. But it's not different from the ones that we have in Africa, from different ethnic tribes in Africa or in Asia, different parts of Asia. It's all, people have their own stories that are referencing, they're metaphorical, equally metaphorical, and
Okay.
they're referencing something great, something beyond human beings that we can't understand. But we have to take into consideration how we live our lives.
Let's go to the new person that joined us. Mwagwazi. Did I pronounce it well? Mwagwazi. Welcome. Tell us where you're joining us from and what's your take on what we're discussing.
Dr. Damage.
How are you doing? You sound relaxed and you're enjoying life. Have you figured it out? There are a lot of people who are puzzled. I mean, this is very important because until we get this all straightened out, we have to keep moving in the dark. I think for most people. Tell us what you think about what we're discussing.
Sorry, I will start by pronouncing my name well properly first.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Mwagwazi.
Mwagwazi. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Mwagwazi. Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. My greetings goes to all the participants in the studio. I say, may Elohim bless all of you.
Thank you. You too.
The questions before us are all philosophical questions,
Mm.
and the most of which are open-ended debates.
Mm.
So from my perspective, for I have jotted down some of them here.
Mm.
The purpose of life, is it for happiness or to make heaven?
Mm.
Uh, I don't know how the question was, but I just wrote decision and destiny. It's
Mm.
part of the questions you asked.
Mm.
And again, uh, where we before we are born, and where are we going to? Where will we be going to after we are out of this place?
Mm.
So I'll try to bring my own perspective in the discussion
Okay, very good. That's why you're here. Go ahead.
about the purpose of life. Uh, there
It-
are
it-
so many theories out there regarding the purpose of life. When you delve into Christian beliefs, we are told that, because I'm also a Christian,
yeah, but I
we
want
are
to know
told
what
that,
you. I want to know what you believe in. Okay,
yes, I'm
because
coming
yeah,
now.
yeah,
I'm drawing
okay. We
inferences.
don't have a lot of time. We have other people who want to make this keep moving. People are waiting and people are waiting to join. So can you please help us?
Regardless of the theories out there and beliefs out there, from my little place here about the purpose of life, looking at how the world have evolved from what we can see, touch, and substantiate, we can see that before now, like where I'm seated here now,
Where are you?
relaxing
You didn't tell us where you are. Where are you?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Oh, you're from Nigeria. Okay,
Yes,
very good,
dear.
very good. Because I want to make sure that we hear from people in Nigeria. Go ahead.
So, like where I'm seated here in a sitting room on a couch.
Mm.
Back in the days, our forefathers did not have such setup.
Mm.
They lived in huts and mud houses
Mm.
and what have you.
It depends on how far
And
back you are going. If you go way, way back, maybe they were on trees. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. Thank God you know. Now today we have evolved.
Mm.
I've come to this stage where we can now have a well decorated sitting room
And
and all
where are
that.
we going to be 20,000 years from now? Can you imagine that?
Imagine that, my brother. So let me
Imagine.
just say
Okay.
what I think.
Okay.
The purpose of life, to me, from what we can see, felt, and substantiate,
Mm.
is all about, or should be all about, working hard and advancing life,
Okay.
mastering the nature. Where we are going to leave this thing here is not where our children will take it.
Okay.
They will take it further. So if I pass through this earth, I did not contribute anything. I'm thinking of heaven and short-time happiness. I think I must have failed. So I think the purpose of
So
life,
why will you master nature? What is what is the ultimate goal? Are you mastering nature so that you live a better world for people coming behind you? Are you mastering nature so that you'll be rewarded when you live here? What is the connection?
I'm coming.
We don't have
The
time.
both.
We have to go to other people. There are a lot of people who want
Let
to
me come,
control.
please. I need to make a point now.
Okay, go ahead.
Now I master nature to learn how to use nature to better the condition of man on planet Earth.
Mm.
When
Okay.
our children comes around, you also take it further. And
That's good.
again, we
Mm-hmm.
we ourselves, like in our tradition in Igbo here, which is also scientifically proven,
Mm.
man does not die and go forever. We keep coming back. It's a cycle.
Okay.
Like I know who reincarnates me,
Okay, good. You
and there
brought
are
out.
evidences.
Okay, thank you. Stand by. Okay, we are going
That
to
is
come
just
back.
number one. There are
I
other
know we
questions.
when I come back to you, we'll get to number two. Let's get other
Okay,
people
thank you,
involved.
bro. All right.
Dr. Perry, um,
Yes, sir.
did you hear what he was talking about? The interesting angle he brought to this conversation. What is your take in terms of the society that we live in is advancing? irrespective of this debate we are having today. And this is something that has been going on for many years. We're not the first people that sat down to say, who the hell are we? How did we end up here? And, but think about it, 10,000 years from now, what do you see is the people who will be here? What are they going to be talking about? If we are able to crack the space and we're able to be able to move faster than time, faster than light, what would that be? Can you give us a picture, an image of what you think?
As usual, I try to talk fast so I can cover a
Yeah,
bunch of
please,
points.
please, yeah, because a lot of
So I'm
people.
going to get to that point, the future. Let me start from the past.
Okay.
Just one thing that I wanted to mention earlier is Iraq, where Mr. Rahman had said, Adam and Eve came through Iraq. I think what he's talking about is Uruk. Uruk, there's a whole, and I'll advise everybody to go and look into it. There's this whole civilization in Uruk. And the first written work of man comes out of Uruk, the first story, the something of Gilgamesh's tale. It's the tale of Gilgamesh. So this whole story of cuneiform tablets and stuff from Uruk, Iraq. So a lot of our history, and that's where Abraham, the father of the three monotheistic major religions, that's where he's believed to have been. That's in Uruk, Iraq. But I'm not sure if there's any history that says that's where Adam and Eve started out. That said, on this question you asked earlier, which I missed, which is the role of Africa, and that's where I remembered Uruk and the roles of different places. The story is not a single story of, Arabs and Jews. We have Uruk, which was a different civilization, and that's where Abraham was. We have people like Moses, who was in Africa, and then the thing about this religion thing that people mistake is over time it goes through different people and there are different places where the prophets are, including the last messages. However, we've had over 100,000 prophets. And if you look, anybody who studies African religion would find out that all these African religions that we know traditionally, they're all monotheistic. They all believe in one God. These religions started from prophets. But the problem that happens with religion is over time, people start to worship what they can see over the unseen. So when you think about maybe Yoruba religions are monotheistic. Igbo is Chuku, what's the name of God in Igbo? Chuku Abiyama. Chuku Abiyama. So it's one God. So monotheism is universal. But then over time, people start to worship angels and attributes of God as God. So when you look at something like Yoruba religions, it starts with, Odumare and one God, and then from there, people start to worship Shango, thunder, and attribute as a God. So people want to worship things they can see. And this happens when they start to worship a man as God. They start to worship thunder. They start to make idols because people like worshiping what they can see. But prophets have been distributed all across Africa. We've had as ours, and that's how we have this whole monotheistic theory in Africa as well. It's only recently that it's come to, the Israelites and the Arabs and so on and so forth. So now, towards the future, there's two things. Development is part of religion, intellect. Intellect is our greatest gift, and that's the test that Adam was given ultimately at creation, that he showed, because we came here as God's representatives with our brains, most important. So we continue to develop scientifically as best as we can to progress. That is separate from morality, which I've said there's no objective morality. We cannot redevelop morality. It's just not possible. There is no direction further there. Right and wrong, adultery, murder. It's the same laws that we've had from the beginning of time. So those laws stay, and those laws are what links us with our ultimate purpose, which is our direction to reconnect with God. So the morality stays. However, we are going to, this fun, the other part is fun. Developing technology, moving to Mars, moving to the moon, all that is fun, but that's not the purpose. The purpose, the moral guidelines stay, mild changes, but those stay, and those have stayed from the beginning of time till the end of time.
All right. Thank you so much. I've seen that AC Chikezie joined us. Let's bring him in and see what he has to add to our conversation. Chikezie, welcome. Tell us where you're joining us from and your input. Please, we want everybody to just have less than a minute and a half because we have so many people who are trying to join. Please.
Hi, Dr. Damages.
Hey, how are you, man?
Good morning from here. Good morning, the panel.
Yeah, where are you from? Well, joining us from?
No, I'm an Igbo man. I'm from Anambra State. But
Are you joining us from Anambra State?
no, I'm joining from Malta.
Malta. That's all we want to know your place in the world. Okay. You may be joining us from the moon. Who knows? All right. Go ahead. So what's your take?
For me, my brother in white, one with the white, I think he said it all.
Roman?
Yeah, colonization, Christianity, and Islam. That is them trying to. I'm not a Christian. Not I believe in tradition, my tradition and culture. So I don't even. I don't want to buy any idea coming from colonial masters. Any rubbish they have to offer me. I don't buy. I don't buy the. My brother said it all. This Muslim, Islam, Arab, then try to dominate. Then Europeans try to dominate through the Christianity. So I don't buy the idea. I'm a traditional. I believe in my traditional culture. Anything that.
Chikeze, let me ask you. You believe in tradition and you're a traditional man.
Traditional
Are you not worried that your traditional beliefs are not getting time is running out for it because it's not being reinforced, it's not being expanded, it's not being written, it's not being are you sure it's going to survive? And what are you doing to make sure it survives? Because I agree with go ahead.
Because my colonial masters, them brought Christianity, purpose of they use it to destroy my tradition and my culture. They use it to destroy anything, any good thing that comes from our country, our land. So
yeah, but they're gone. They are gone now. So what are you doing to preserve your tradition?
But my people are still suffering. My people are still suffering mental slavery. Africans
it's true, but someone has to correct them. Someone has to do the job that is to take to make that correction. What are you doing about that? There are shrines in your hometown that are being destroyed. What have you done? You can't be saying there that colonial people did this to you and you are not doing anything to preserve what is left. You are in Malta and you are eating and enjoying life and you are complaining and why are you living with them anyway? Why are you living with those colonial Europeans who came to Africa and destroyed Africa? Why are you living there? Why don't you go to Africa and preserve those things?
That make my land uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, I know. And then you decided to go to them. Do you have a family there? No, you're part of the show. You have a family there?
Yeah, I have
You should come back.
No, wait. Let's get him to answer. You have a family there. You have do they speak your language? Your children, do they speak your language? Igbo?
I have a daughter. Yeah, I have a daughter.
Okay, does she speak Igbo?
No, she understands it because she's a half Igbo and half.
I know. You don't have to tell us. But what I'm saying is, when will she go back to that your traditional? Anyway, let me go back to Raman. Hold on, stand by, Raman.
Yeah.
You see, this is what they call Africa the triple heritage. We basically, we have this triple heritage that we carry along with us. The Christian angle, the Muslim part, and of course the traditional part. And I think we are facing a generation now that if we don't find a balance, if we don't preserve the traditional part, we may lose it entirely because people who actually know what should be done, what was done by our forefathers, are gone. Their time is going. Are you not worried about that? Are we going to be like because it's important that when we have this conversation, we think about this. The Europeans, for instance, the British people. I don't know if anybody here is from UK. They are at a very critical situation now where they became Christians. They forgot, just like us. They forgot what they used to do, and now they are turning their back on Christianity. They don't even know where to go next. So what is happening now in the UK and in France, in another 50, 100 years or 200 years from now, if you go to Britain, you may not find any church still standing. People are not going to be going to churches. You find people, religion of the people that came in, Muslims and Hindus taking over United Kingdom. And the same thing it's happening in Africa. Are we not all concerned for people who are here projecting the story of Adam and the story of Eve and the story of, Raman, let me come to you.
Yeah, that's very true. We have a huge problem on our hands. I'm from Oyo, Oyo town, in Oyo State, Nigeria, and when I recall, when I learned more about the religious practices of the Yoruba people when I got to America, not when I was in Nigeria. I saw them in Nigeria. I saw things they were doing, and I knew some basic elements of it. But learning more about this, the religious culture of the Yoruba people, I did here when I came to America. In fact, it started with a book that I picked in the library in my school. So for it to be like that, it is very sad, and it's something that we need to change to make sure that everyone, our people across Africa, that we understand our own origin. Because when you start to look at them, that's when you see that it's our version of this story from our perspective, because we are all in different parts of the world right now. And within the environment where we are, that's where people are generating these stories. And there is an interesting thing to having these diverse generations of stories, is that it makes you see that people are telling the same stories from different parts of the world. And to assume one above all of them is a really devastating thing for not just we that we come from that culture, but for the entire world, because then they don't know what is actually available from some other places. We are all talking about just the versions we hear from they ascribe to Jesus and to Muhammad, and these are what we are carrying about. And I think it's a huge problem if we cannot bring our own to not necessarily compete in this mix, but to actually stand its own, so that we can all recognize the similarities, recognize the differences, and understand why those differences are there. I'll give you an example. You look at the story of Job in the Bible. The story of Job, we have it there, and then we have it in the Quran. When you look at the version that you have in the Bible and the version that you have in the Quran, there is a slight philosophical difference in the two, even though the narratives of his experience are the same in both religions. But there's an interesting philosophical difference that you can trace back to how the Arabs, the Muslims of that era, look at the world, the way they imagine God, and the way they institute God. And when you look at the Jewish version that we have in the Bible, it also fits the Jewish culture that we know, how they saw the world, how they interpreted the world. So these two slight differences, and both of them are interesting for us to know, to be able to understand things in a better way. So if we exclude some narratives that we have from Africa and other places, we get lost. And
Okay.
This is something that we all need to do. Let me add one quick thing.
Okay, Roman, round it up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there is also this idea that people talk about when it comes to civilization. They say Western civilization, the Westerners, whatever ideas they're talking about, we say it's philosophy from the West, and all of this, it has dominated because they have forced it upon us. I have read a lot of philosophers, and largely most of the things that I have seen them talking about, I have seen it in traditional African beliefs across Africa. The same thing, but stated in different forms. However, now the Westerners, some of the extreme Westerners especially, they're claiming the creation of these ideas, like even democracy or whatever things that we're talking. But there are versions that we all have in different parts of Africa that are similar to exactly what they're talking about now, and even something slightly different or in one way or another. So when ideas come and people say, oh, Western idea, liberalism especially, and things like that, these are not Western inventions. If you go deeper in African cultures, you find all of these things. In Asian culture, in India, for example, right now people talk about atheists, and it's almost like the West came with atheists. And the atheism that you see in the West, though it has its own character, but there has been atheism in India for a very long time before the West even knew whatever they were trying to do with
Okay.
themselves.
Okay, Raman,
So we need
look,
to, yeah.
I have to stop you. Thank you
Okay.
very much, everybody. We've done 1 hour on this show, and it looks like we've not started. Now, let me say that we have to find a way to make people just speak for 1 minute. You have to put your thoughts together in 1 minute. And we have a lot of people telling me that the studio is full. They can't get into the studio, so I will have to let people out, out of the studio so that we have room. But let me get to Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry, can you tell me just in 2 minutes, the difference between the African god and the foreign gods that you make reference to? Is there a difference? Are we actually, because I believe that if the world is facing one direction, if we can iron this out, and maybe on this show we figure out where we came from and where we're going to, maybe then the world will have a purpose, and there will be less conflict the way we have it today. Because I think that people who do whatever we do is all based on our perception of where we are and where we are going. Dr. Perry, are you with us? Go ahead, Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry. All right. Dr. Perry is, before I think he's maybe frozen. I have two people who are joining us. Raf, welcome to the show. And John Abba, welcome to the show. Now, Raf, let me come to you. You have a podcast and you talk to a lot of people. But I want your own personal view now. What is your understanding of why you are here, what you are doing, and where you are going after here? 1 minute, please. I know this is a tough topic, but in just 1 minute, give us an idea. What have you learned in life that you want to pass across? If you are talking to people now, I've been here for this long. This is what I think we are doing.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doc. Quick thing, Brother Rahman, I would like to get in touch with you later on. So if you can hit me up, please do. I don't know where you are based. I just heard you talking, so I would like to talk to you later on. So please connect. So I've done over 100 episodes. I've talked to people. The episode I'm releasing next week will be with somebody who can trace his family history back to about 4,000 years in India. And the story that brother was just giving me about his family, there's so many things I've learned. And I think I'm here to just bring down artificial walls. I'm not religious. I don't believe in any spirituality, but I don't really do titles. And I just believe in being a good person. So I go with the tagline of bringing down artificial walls. I love to learn. I consider myself a sponge. And I come across new things every week, every day. And that's how I grow.
So let me ask you, are you worried about, where you are going to go after this journey here on Earth?
No.
No, you're not concerned.
I'm not concerned. I'm only concerned with living a much better world for my daughter. And if there will be another generation after that, then if there's none, then life goes on.
All right, thank you. John Abba, let me come to you. I know you are joining us from Texas. John Abba, tell us what you think is going on. Why are we here? What's going on? How did we get here? Okay, you have to unmute yourself, John Abba, or did I? Hold on. All right, go ahead, John Abba.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Go back to your question again, please.
Why are you here? Why are we? What is going on? Why did you? Who brought you here? Where did you come from?
In
And
terms
where are
of
you going
my,
to? I
when
don't
I
mean
live
who
this,
brought you. I don't mean who gave you visa to America. I mean who brought you to this. Now, where are you going
my
to after this?
my parent brought me to this
Yeah,
world.
before your parents, is there any connection? Is there anything that happened before? Where did you come? Where were you before you were born? Where were you?
I was nowhere that I know of
You have no idea. Okay. Do you have an idea why you are here now? What you're doing here?
on earth.
Yeah.
I just want to, since I did not make a choice of bringing myself to this world, I think it's my parent that make that choice, and I'm here on earth. My purpose in my own world is to live and be a good person as much as I can, and live a better world for my
Yeah.
live a
For your
better world, not just for my children, but
for the
anything I can do to live a better world for the next generation.
All right, all right. Let's rush people out and in, like, because we gotta get more voices. Ostino, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, okay, Ostino, it's up to you now. Tell us. I know where you were born. I know, but tell us beyond where you were born. How did you end up here, and where are you heading to?
Oh, definitely. I come from my creator. That is the Alpha and Omega, the omnipotent, omniscient God, the Almighty God. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. Not missing word about that. And when I die, I'm going back to Him. And
Where is he?
say that again.
Where is he?
Oh, He dwells in heaven, no doubt, no question about that. He's in heaven.
Where is heaven?
Heaven is up there. Heaven is
Up
up
there.
there. Yes.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. I mean,
And
these are, we can't begin to even, question all these things.
no, of course,
And,
of course, of course.
and all of us, we have a particular purpose why God created us. And it will be a terrible thing if you live in this life and you don't know the purpose why God.
What is your purpose? Your own purpose.
My own purpose.
Yeah.
My own purpose in life is to be able to achieve, to help other people achieve their purpose in life to the glory of God, to worship God and give Him glory, to praise Him all the time. That's my purpose in life. And help others so that others can achieve their own purpose also in life. That's my purpose. There's no question about it.
And after that, what happens?
Well, after that, life continues because now, I believe one thing. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that people go and come back. No doubt, I believe, because even in the Bible, it talks about, are you the Moses? Are you the Christ who is to come, or shall we wait for another person? So it was referring as Moses, as Jesus Christ who was to come, who is to come. So that one, you don't question that. I believe that people come and go until such a time they get evolved to a certain level. Because now you cannot tell me that all of us are at the same level. We are not at the same level. Because sometimes you find out that when you're trying to explain something to somebody, they don't really understand what you are talking about. But the same thing you're trying to explain to that person, if you try to explain it to another person, that person grabs it right away. And and also we're not at the same level of morality, if you know what I'm talking about. You can see some people, they are behaving somehow, but you see some people, they are very nice people. So they have evolved to a certain level that they come and go until you evolve to a certain level. Then you go back to your creator. Just like matter, our soul is indestructible. Matter is indestructible and cannot be destroyed. That's what science taught us, right? The same thing with our soul. It cannot die. It doesn't die. It goes back to the creator.
All right. Let me get some people out by giving them the final chance to speak. Chikeze, someone was saying on the comment section, for you, how do you go back to your culture? Are you going back to killing twins that used to happen in some parts of Igbo land? Use that to round up your comments so that we let new people in and let them join the conversation.
We do not kill in my culture. No, that is nonsense. That is a colonization idea. My culture is a beautiful culture. My tradition is we don't kill. That is it.
Okay. So now thank you so much, Chikeze. Let's go to excuse me. Mwagwazi. I hope I'm getting it.
Dr. Damage.
Yeah, let me come to you. I didn't forget you.
Mwagwazi.
Mwagwazi. Okay, what are they know? Gwazi? Mwagwazi. Okay, we talk about that later.
Mwagwazi, yeah.
Mwagwazi. Okay, so round up for us so that we can let new people in. There are people who are interested in joining.
One of the speakers there said earlier that the purpose why we are here is to entrench morality. And that from beginning of time, the same moral standards have survived, like what you have in the Bible, Quran, and all that. I don't know if I'm correct.
Well, go ahead. We don't want to go back to him to repeat.
So, I want to state that moralities, like he said, is in every culture and people, is in every civilization and societies. But morality and the laws that come with them are only a guidelines to aid human to coexist peacefully, build better societies, and then achieve the purpose why we are here, which is to live a better world for our unborn children.
Okay.
Again, we need to, like they are talking about gayism and lesbianism and what have you. These are anti-nature, sorry to say, because it will leave the world empty and depopulated. So we need to procreate.
Why are you concerned about that? If the world is empty and depopulated, why is that your trouble?
We are here already. We have seen how nature is, because we are part and parcel of nature. Anything done against nature will not survive the course of time. That is a fact.
Yeah, but look at the nuclear weapons that were used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They survived. They wasn't there to help nature. It killed a lot of people. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
Sorry, please. Let me round up.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm so nice like that, you know.
Because if I leave there without making this statement, I must not make any point.
Okay.
See, we as humans are part and parcel of nature. Our existence here is not different from the existence of earth, tree, animals, sun, and what have you. We are the same thing. We interact with each other, we take from each other and give each other in nature.
Yes.
So the question of where do we come from? We come from wherever the earth comes from. And where are we going to? We are going to wherever the earth and nature is going to.
Okay.
We don't die, we transit and live in another form, come back just like that. And nature remains.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to let people out of the studio so that new people can come in. Please don't feel bad. It's not. You can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We are live there. Please, so go there and watch us so that we let new people come in. Raman, somebody mentioned reincarnation. In all your studies, I know you went to Harvard, you went to all these big schools, but what is reincarnation, and what do you think about that? Do you believe that people come back when they die?
The idea of reincarnation, it's also one of the stories that we tell ourselves. Though I will say the way I understand life, the world now, there are things that we don't know. And one of it is actually that we don't know what happens when we die.
So Raman, stop. So it looks like we don't know anything. And why are we here then? What do we know?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Let's continue from reincarnation. So the idea of reincarnation, it could be that humans reincarnate. There are different systems of cosmic systems that we have regarding life. So, for example, you have that reincarnation as part of African traditional beliefs, and you have that in some other parts, like in India, in Hinduism, they talk about it. But when you look at this critically, within each of these cultures, also they have different version of what is reincarnation. For example, in let's say in India, some people believe that you reincarnate. That's why they talk about your karma, that whatever you do in this life and things like that. But there is another perspective that talks about it in the sense that we don't actually have separate consciousness. So the idea that you die, which is why the Buddhists, they strive to have what they call enlightenment, which is equivalent to what in other religions they call paradise. That they believe that when you die, you fuse, when you've made yourself to use the word we tend to use, holy enough to fuse with the image, the idea, the soul of God, as they say. That's where you belong. But if you have not done that yet, then you can return to the world to strive towards that. So you have this different, and I think when you have different perspectives like that, we ought to take everything into consideration, and we ought to put our own thinking into it as far how this happens. And one thing that I have noticed in the history of human beings in the world, in different parts of the world, is one single idea that has been consistent in all parts of the world and over generations. And that is the idea of man, know thyself.
Okay,
Everyone tends to boil down to that.
Okay, Roman.
That's the first step. Sorry, that's the first step for every individual to really be able to know what they see in these things.
Okay, next time we do this show, I will get a timekeeper that will be ringing the bell so that people will know that they are out of time.
Listen, bro.
I know this is a tough thing. This is a tough conversation. Yeah, I know.
And the
thoughts
they form themselves.
But we have to keep moving.
Yeah,
there are people
it will be good if you can be stopping us
who are falling asleep. All right. Osaino, I want to come back to you because you brought this reincarnation, and this is a serious question. And you talked about understanding all these things. And are you in control of your destiny? Are you destined to do the things you are doing, or are you using your free will? How do you see this? What is the role you are playing? Is it you playing that role, or something that is your destiny?
Yeah, I believe that
you have 1 minute. I know you can write a book on this.
People have destinies. I believe that people are destined to a certain thing, but in the same vein, also you have to work towards it, because you cannot just come and fold your.
Wait, stop there. You can't work towards what you don't know. Are you saying that you know your destiny?
Well, listen. Okay, that's why if you look, Steve Jobs. Remember Steve Jobs? He said you can never connect the dot looking forward. You can only connect the dot looking backwards.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. You can keep on trying a couple of things until you get to that point where you are comfortable. When you are doing what you enjoy, just like what you are doing right now, I do know, and I have the courage of my conviction that is what we are born to do. No doubt about it. So, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So until you get to that level, what you are comfortable doing, what you enjoy doing, that is what God calls you to do in this life. And by the time you start doing it, you find out that everything becomes easy and things comes to you naturally. You understand? You don't have to struggle about it. Other people will be struggling, but you are not struggling about it, because that's your talent. That's what God has given to you. And within this your talent, you can still get other talents and nurture it also. Those are the things that God has destined you to. You cannot run away from it. But you have to work towards it to be able to achieve those things. That's what I'm saying.
All right, thank you, Osaino. Dr. Perry, let me come back to you. I know, there are a lot of things have touched on so many issues while you were out, but this issue of destiny and free will. Can you, in 1 minute, make it clear to people who are watching, what is the connection between destiny and your free will?
So, from a religious perspective, I don't know whether you guys can hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, because I had some problems with my set. So, from a religious perspective, the whole uniqueness of man as compared to angels and other beings is the fact that we have free will. So we have that capacity to, do and undo. And And with that, we have choices. So for what we see, this earth is like kind of game. So human beings, we love reality shows. And the same way you look at reality shows where you kind of set up a stage with limitations, okay? And sometimes, and that's why, to the earlier thing that we're talking about, that, you know, if we get to the moon or stuff, I'll be honest here, from a religious point of view, when man goes beyond his limits, God cancels us. The cancel culture started with God. So when we go a bit out of range with our free will, he cancels us, wipes us out, and sets up a new generation to
A new
take over. Because
generation.
we are supposed to stay within the limits of that
This God
reality.
is mean, you know. This God is mean. Then.
No, it's a game. It's
Oh,
like
it's a game. Oh, we are just pawns on
we
the
are pawns. Like what I'm saying
all
is,
right. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
the way we are, you know, the way we set up reality shows. Anything you think about the way we are in his image. That's the way he is on just a mega level. We love reality shows. We love to watch people go through all
right.
that.
Osino, you are playing a game. You are not really. You think you are here doing these things. You are part of a game, and someone is controlling you. Do you agree?
Yeah, I believe that God is orchestrating everything.
Wow.
I believe that God is orchestrating, because I mean, take for instance my situation, how I came to United States. I mean, it's unbelievable, you know. So I believe that God already orchestrated it, you know, and I saw it 20 years back before I came over here. How was it possible that I saw it 20 years before I came over? You understand? So I believe that God is, I mean, there's a higher being that is playing pawns with us. I agree with Dr. Bremer. There's a higher being.
Okay, all right. We have 9 minutes left, and we have to close exactly 7:30. John Abba, let me come to you. If you agree with these guys that we are just here, it's a pawn. You know, we talk the story of Judas. I know you know the story of the Bible very well. And he was one that betrayed Christ, they said in the Bible, and he got punished for doing that. But he was destined to do that. That was when Christ was picking him up, you know, as one of the apostles. He knew this man, well, he was destined. Why was he punished, John Abba? He should be celebrated. He made it the words written fulfilled.
Exactly. My question to you could have been the vice versa. If Prophet Isaiah and all of that, every prophet prophesies about the coming of Christ and all that is going to happen. Why is there a problem again if Judas told him to go through that way? I'm asking you the same
So
question.
John Abba has no answer. Ralph, I know you don't go to church. You don't have no idea what we're talking about. But do you believe in destiny, or do you think it's your free will? What is pushing you? Are you the Superman who gets what you have, or is it something given to you?
Oh man, no,
Okay, somebody just
no.
corrected me that Judas was not punished. He hung himself. All
Yeah,
right.
he hung himself.
Yeah.
I went to enough church and I helped build Canaan. I helped build Canaan land for free. Oyedepo still owes me money.
Oh,
But,
you pay tithes. We will talk about
back then I did bodyguard for Oyedepo.
one day we are going to talk about tithes.
Oh yeah, we
one
will.
day
But
we are going to talk about tithes.
I will. Two things. You know,
Okay.
I love the way, you know, Christians always, you know, talk about God, and no offense to you guys, but I always wonder. You know, one of the books that I read was Confucius, Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad from the Great Courses. The Great Courses, and you know, and the Russian Orthodox Church. One of the saints of the Russian Orthodox Church is the Buddha. Buddhism existed long before Christianity. Hinduism existed long before Christianity. I kind of find it weird the way Christians always colonize God. And I don't, you know, I just find it interesting that other people don't colonize God that way because they have multiple gods. So do they have a right to claim destiny also? I don't know. But hey, everybody on their own. But there's one interview that I heard that I listened to, and I got the man's book, Ezra Klein with Dr. Robert Sapolsky. And he talked about the brain. No, it was an interview on neurology, and he talks about how our brain responds to trauma. And he has studied criminals, and most of the criminals he has studied are people who, from childhood, they have had some traumatic experience with their brain. So, like, if you take a child and you smack the child's head constantly, there's a different reaction that if you hit the child's head at a certain part of the head, let's say on the right side or the left side, that person has a different reaction to how they start reacting to life. And there's scientific studies about that. Now, would you say it's destiny for that person to turn into a criminal or not? It's up to you guys who believe on that
If
route.
I may answer,
Because,
if I may respond.
Okay, go ahead.
Very interesting question here. I just
yeah.
realized exactly what the topic was. Destiny, that's predestiny. Destiny is
Okay.
predestination, and free will. I want to put it this way. The difference between understanding how it is possible to have free will and destiny. Do you know what the only problem is in being able to put these two things together? Because it seems as if they contradict. The problem there is one word: time. That's the difference. So for those of us limited by this understanding that if you are destined to do something, you cannot use free will to achieve it, our limited understanding is because we believe time is not, we don't understand that time is relative. Now, if you understand that time is relative, then you know that beyond our time-based earth, and the time of this earth is from the expansion. That's how time is forming. But if you're outside,
one quick question.
If you're outside of this
is
universe,
your earth from the time of Christianity being founded, or from the time Earth was founded?
Time Earth was founded. Christianity, I believe that there have been errors in the time frame in the Bible. I don't follow one religious this thing. I follow all of them. So our time frame is
okay. That's very hold on.
So
go ahead. Okay.
Time that makes it impossible to say how can you be destined and how can you go along with your free will. It's because you believe that it takes time, like the next moment happened after the first moment. But if you're outside of our universe, our time frame does not exist. Time and space is relative. Then you find out how these two things can happen at the same time.
Wow.
So
that's a wonderful idea. I've not had that before.
Raman, never had it before.
Yeah. Raman,
all these concepts are in my book, by the way.
Oh, they are in his book. Yeah.
What's your name, so I can contact you too?
Dr. Perry.
Call me later. I'll give you their contact.
Okay.
Raman, let me come to you. Einstein said that God does not play dice with the universe. It looks like Ostino is saying that God is, and Dr. Perry, that God is playing games with us. What is your take on this?
One thing is that you see all these ideas, there are different perspectives, and we tend to look at one particular perspective and use that to define the reality in general. Whereas there is a place for that all these different perspectives play. One thing that I always tell myself about reality, about life, and about everything in life is the word paradox. I always stick to the word paradox, which means that things appear contradictory to us, but in a way, beyond that contradictions that they present to us, they are actually the same one thing. So that's the same thing that happens when you talk about predestination, destiny, and free will. From what we know, or from different religions, you have, even though they tell you behave this way, do this, don't do that, and if you do this, you're punished. If you do that, you get to heaven. It implies free will. Okay. That's what it implies. We
have 2 minutes left.
Okay. It implies listen. It implies the fact that what you choose will determine what you get in the next moment. So, however, these religions also talk about the omnipotence of God. That is, and God creates everything. God controls everything, and that no matter what you do, God has done it. There is interesting verses in the Quran where God says, according to the Quran, that
Raman, we can't give you the whole 2 minutes. We have 1 minute.
Yeah, listen.
I need to at least say thank you to everybody for joining us.
You're already breaking these things. Even if you decide not to believe in God, that you cannot do it without the will of God. So what it tells you is that there is something regarding all of these things. And I think Shakespeare actually says it very well when he says all the world is a stage. We are all like
So they,
actors
All right.
that we are acting on the stage.
Raman,
So
thank you,
keep that in mind.
thank you so much. I really want to thank everybody for joining us. I appreciate this conversation. I know it's jam packed. We have one single question could take us a whole day to deal with, and we have about 7. So
But let me tell you one thing is that
no,
there is no
Raman,
free
that's
will
not
in
true.
life and death.
No,
No. I want to
Raman.
put that down because of any other time. There is no free will. Human beings
Okay,
don't have
okay.
free will.
Next time we pick one topic and go extensively. I want to thank everybody that joined me. Dr. Perry, thank you so much for coming in and making this entertaining. Raman, thank you. Osaino, always nice to have you. My man Raphael, thank you for joining. And
always,
John
doctor.
Abba, thank you. And all the other people that came in, I don't remember the names, but we have to run. Thank you for joining, and hopefully next time we pick one topic and have more time to deal with that. And I appreciate all of you, and see you next time, everybody. Say
Peace.
bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All
Doctor.
right.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Take
thank you,
care.
thank
everyone.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a nice conversation.
Doctor,
Thank you
give me
very
a
much.
call, please.
Okay, I will.
I forgot. Thank you.
As your
All right,
child,
we're
I
waiting
know
for you to
that
kick us out.
if I were, you would have paused and pondered. You would have cared to reconsider.
I could be a shooting star up in the night sky, or a planet for now, just far, far away.
Do you ever wonder the infinite man I could be